Hey everybody, it's Paul here with the Real Estate Playbook. Welcome to episode 31. This one is going to be with Joe. I just wanted to do a quick intro here up top because we did have some technical difficulties with this episode. So when Joe does certain episodes, he likes to get guests from out of state, different markets, things like that. So obviously with them not being physically in studio, they're done over Zoom. Had some technical difficulties with Zoom as we have in the past, but wanted to make sure that we could still get this episode out to you guys. So because we did lose a little bit of the beginning of the recording, I just wanted to get on here and tell you a little bit about our guest so you have some context for where the interview picks up. So this week's guest, his name is Suneet Agarwal. He is based out of Sacramento, California. He has his own real estate team called Best Sac Homes Group. They're with or affiliated with Big Block Realty North. Again, that's in Sacramento, California. Suneet's got a really big business, big team. So he knows quite a bit about the real estate industry, has some great tips of advice in here. He's also a business coach with Cheplack Live, if you're familiar with John Cheplack. So he does have a lot of great pointers. They get into this towards the end of the recording, but just so you guys know up top, Suneet does have some open spots if you'd like to take him on as a mentor. He's going to mention that later in the episode, so stay tuned for that. Just so you guys know where the episode does pick up, it's one of the questions that we do in pretty much every episode, which is asking the guest, what is their greatest strength, or what is their organization's greatest strength in today's market? So Suneet is, as you'll hear in just a moment, speaking to his greatest strength or his organization's greatest strength as his people, the people they surround themselves with and the people they hire, as well as the technology that they choose to use. So I hope you guys enjoy episode 31 with Joe and Suneet Agarwal. Make sure you, as always, drop a like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff.
There, 100%. They definitely do.
There is no bullshitting with anybody. So,
right.
So that's it. Surround yourself with good people always.
Yeah, 100%, and to ensure that they're obviously going to be the ones who are the drivers of the business. And, a lot of these brokerages are kind of built on, and pretty much any service industry, I think, especially when it comes to sales, is built on the people. And obviously the tech is going to play a component in that, but it still comes to the people, those relationships, and that component of, that human interaction, which I think a lot of times some people take for granted.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
So,
same.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that's kind of obviously one of the biggest strengths, and I'm, completely aligned with that. As far as on the same note, like what are one of the things right now as an organization that you might be struggling a bit with? Like, what do you think you're aggressively working on or trying to improve of what you see in the marketplace that you're just out there, super focused on trying to kind of fix that void?
Sure. And right. So not only in my market, I've been fortunate enough to coach the top teams and brokerages and operators in Canada and the United States. So I'm seeing a lot, right? And lack of inventory, and the same conversation happens every year at this time. And then all the operators get amnesia about May because you start making a bunch of money and forget to do the fundamentals consistently to make sure that you don't have this conversation in March, at least for your own organization.
Absolutely.
So everybody needs to implement something and a process to make sure that listing opportunities are happening for the org.
I completely agree.
So, and don't get amnesia. Remember these painful times, right? And once you get busy selling a bunch of buyers around May, then you're going to forget. Don't forget. This is the time, right?
Absolutely. Get it while you can.
That's one. The other thing I see that's been a challenge for a ton of operators is just really dialing down your process for onboarding new agents to your organization, right? And I don't think that anybody there are people that have it down. Make sure that you have it down. The shit is going to break once a month.
100%.
Fix it once a month, right? It's a constant evolving thing. When you bring on somebody into your organization, you have to get them productive super quick. Because guess what they need as a new realtor? Money.
Absolutely.
right? Don't bog them down with a bunch of bullshit training and this and that don't let them get opportunities. Like, you have to create some kind of environment and system that gets them productive at as fast as possible.
Yeah. And then back in the traditional days, you went through anywhere from like a 30 to 90-day boot camp, and it's like training, but unlike most organizations, it wasn't paid, right? You're kind of going through all this training, but obviously if you're focused on this is going to be your full-time gig, you have no money coming in because you left whatever job or opportunity you had previously from coming into real estate. And if you got to go through all this training and then go, a lot of times when they were done with training, well, hell, they're out of money. The bills are due. And now they got to go back to what they were doing or plan B because they can't continue down this path. So I completely agree with you that, we always try to, incorporate the training and kind of, put that on the back of getting out in the field. But a lot of it is just kind of getting your hands dirty. And a lot of times realtors, I feel, aren't going to know what they need to know until they have the experience to understand why they need to know it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like you can go teach them all these things, but if they're not understanding why it's going to be useful in their business, I just don't think that it's going to resonate with them and they're going to retain that information. But by getting out there and kind of failing forward and going through that process and journey, then they're able to come back for the training once they need to know and understand why they need that information. And then they're going to retain it because it's going to help them grow and catapult them to the new level.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
So if you could kind of speak to a younger version of yourself and you were to do this all differently, you're just kind of getting licensed now, what would you do? Like, what are some things you'd be doing to kind of start your real estate career in 2022?
Quit partying so hard.
Yeah.
You don't need bottle service every weekend, bro. Yeah.
100%, right? Living for the weekends.
Yeah. Work out more, eat more good food. Be more, double down on your learning about everything, right? Be obsessed with information that is relevant, right? You have to grow your skill set, whether that's through reading, coaching, podcasts, Facebook groups, right? Like do more of it.
Right.
You can look at my background and see all this music equipment, and it's a real background. So you can tell by all this shit in the background, I love workout stuff and music stuff. So I'm a musician. I love music. I didn't listen to any music for 2 years. I just did straight content.
Wow.
Right. And I just blew my brain up and absorbed everything. And I'm sure that helped elevate something. But to a younger self, take better care of yourself, physically and mentally. Health is wealth, right? Like being, I have 12 to 15 meetings 5 days a week. You saw how hard it was to get on my schedule.
Absolutely.
Right?
It took me a damn near month.
Yes. I have 12 to 15 meetings a week. If my energy was messed up because of poor choices, I wouldn't be able to execute this high. Right? I'm lucky to have a mentor and friend like John Cheplack that sets the stage for that. So something else, find a mentor, friend, coach, somebody. You can coach with me if you can afford it. Find a mentor, friend, coach, somebody that can direct you sooner.
Mm-hmm. And provide that guidance and that trajectory. Because a lot of times you don't know what you don't know. So it is good to kind of have somebody kind of show you the blueprint and show you, how to get there. And then usually that coach or mentor is always kind of connecting you with other people who are at a similar stage that you're currently at, but with the same mindset and trajectory as where you're trying to go. So I definitely believe coaching. I think that's probably coaching and mentoring is probably one of the biggest deficiencies in our market. I think everybody kind of gets their license, they go with the brokerage, everything's going to be great, but there's really not that training. Like a lot of brokerages, obviously like yours, you're doing it at a high level because you are a coach, but I think most don't have that, right? So you get a license, you kind of get thrown into the system, and they just it's just a mill. They just kind of find out who's going to make it, who's not, and who doesn't make it. They just kind of keep churning, and who does, it usually stays on and becomes profitable for that group, but they don't really invest a lot of time or resources in those people to getting them to that level. And I think that, one of the most underutilized techniques to kind of get there is that coaching and mentoring. And a lot of people don't value it as enough as they should. So I completely concur with what you're saying.
Yeah.
So obviously I see the music equipment in the back. You talked a little bit about being a musician. If you hadn't chosen real estate, what do you think you'd be doing today?
Well, I didn't choose real estate, right? Like I was in the dispensary game early on, and that went sideways, and real estate was a was like a fallback.
Absolutely.
To use a Zillow term, fallback. So that was great, and that was sexy. I went to school for business and information systems. Looking back, I don't think I would have ever thrived in that. But I don't know, maybe being a model, maybe being the president. I don't know. We'll see.
There you go. IG model.
Yeah,
see that in your future.
Working on that one. For some reason, I don't get a lot of clicks. So we'll see.
Absolutely. And lastly, so obviously you touched a little bit about it, Sonny, but if you could give a word of advice for a new agent, or maybe an agent who's been in the business for a little bit but is struggling, what would be the number one tip you'd give them to kind of implement and put into practice right away?
Dude, join a team.
Mm-hmm.
I think all new agents, and I use this a lot, the power is in the collective. There's great teams like mine that are competitive with the traditional brokerages and offer so much more, have more in tune with the sales process, technology, different systems. Like you can join my team and have access to 90,000 Realtor.com and Zillow leads. That's a lot, right?
Absolutely.
So I would really consider everything when joining an organization, right? Like maybe your metric of whatever you've been sold on is important. Maybe you need to adjust that, right? Like maybe you should really go to a place that's going to provide you with the real opportunities to buy and to help buyers and help sellers immediately.
100%.
When I first joined the first place I went to, I was the youngest dude there. I may have been the only brown guy there. It was me and one black guy, and he was like 60, right? And I was like 38 brown dude. And go do open houses and go hand out business cards. Like, bro, what? I bought some Zillow leads for $400 and crushed that whole office my first year. So,
yeah, it's just kind of getting aligned. And I think that, and obviously the prices to kind of get those opportunities aren't at that $400 mark as they were before, substantially more. Yes. But there are platforms like yours and mine where an agent can kind of plug in. And we always say, it's kind of like you're building your database, and we look at it as like almost like not necessarily a mentorship, but almost like they're kind of coming in and just learning their craft and then kind of going to grow. So it's the first step to get where they want to go. But, I think it's necessary and to have the understanding of converting these leads, learning your craft, learning the business, but also at the same time building your database. So then eventually you can get to the level that you want to go, and not only get to the level you want to get to, but get there much quicker. Because you might be working your own database and have your own sphere of leads coming in.
Yeah, dude, that's so hard, dude. Yeah.
So you compound that with this, and that becomes your sphere.
Calling everybody that you know and asking them to buy or sell, like that's a shitty business plan right now, dude. Yeah. Like, hey, I'm a new agent. You got anybody? No, you just got your license. I don't trust you with anything.
Absolutely. You got to show that social proof and have those, as John would say, those equity deposits. You know what I mean? You got to deposit before you ask for the withdrawal.
Yes, dude. Jab, 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 right hook. Same thing.
100%. Well, Sonny, it was great speaking to you. So if there's any agents out in the marketplace, especially Sacramento, why don't you tell the audience, exactly what areas of California you currently cover, and then the best way to get a hold of you, your contact information as far as website, email, and phone number.
Yeah. So, I'll find a referral for anywhere in the country except for Tampa. So, but if it's really for Sacramento, Sacramento, Vacaville, Northern Cali area. The best way to reach me is on my Instagram, so I can get those likes. And let me tell you what my current name is on Instagram. I'm just looking at my phone here.
So you changing it up frequently, Sonny?
Yeah, I changed a little bit. So Suneet _Agarwal 916.
All right, cool. And we'll get that posted in there too, so everyone can find you. And then also, I know you mentioned it before, but if anybody is interested in possibly being coached, maybe they're with a brokerage in another market, are you currently taking on clients?
I have a few spots open. The best place, I have a link tree in my Instagram. So that's a little hack, right? Like get that free link tree account. And you can just go to my Instagram, hit the link in bio, and get access to all the different venues of coaching, buying, selling, content, whatever.
Awesome, man. So yeah, you got a lot going on. We'll definitely get all that information posted. And then that way they can go ahead and reach out to you, whether it's they got a client to refer to you and anywhere in the country besides Tampa. They want to come work for your organization. Maybe there's somebody in California, who's looking to join a team such as yours because they're at a brokerage that is told to work their sphere and do open houses. And then also, maybe it's somebody who wants to take their business to the next level and they've kind of hit a plateau and, they're looking for somebody to kind of coach them out of that rut, put them in the right circles, have those right conversations and get them to the level of production that they kind of always envision that they get to.
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
Awesome, man. Well, we greatly appreciate you making time. I know you don't got much of it. It's probably one of your scarcest assets right now, but we greatly appreciate having you. And thank you so much for your time and contribution to the podcast.
Hell yeah, dude. Thanks for having me, Joe. Good to see you.
Thank you. Likewise.